cybersecurity, and the impact of emerging technologies on international politics. Introduction. Technology as the new geopolitical battleground. In the 21st century, emerging technologies, especially in the domains of cyberspace, artificial intelligence, AI, big data, and quantum computing, are fundamentally transforming the nature of international politics. The convergence of digital infrastructure and state power has created new domains of competition, conflict, and cooperation. Cybersecurity is no longer a peripheral issue, but lies at the heart of national security and international strategy. Meanwhile, the global race for technological supremacy is reshaping alliances, redefining sovereignty, and amplifying both opportunities and risks in global governance. 1. Cyber warfare and national security. 1.1. The evolving threat landscape. Cyber warfare refers to the use of digital attacks by one nation-state to disrupt the vital computer systems of another, often targeting critical infrastructure such as energy grids, communication systems, military networks, or financial institutions. Unlike traditional warfare, cyber conflicts are often covert, asymmetrical, and deniable, making attribution and response profoundly difficult. Recent years have witnessed a surge in cyber attacks with strategic intent. The Stuxnet worm 2010, widely attributed to the U.S. and Israel, targeted Iran's nuclear centrifuges and marked a watershed moment in offensive cyber operations. The NotPetya attack 2017, traced to Russian actors, inflicted billions of dollars in damages globally, targeting Ukrainian infrastructure but spreading worldwide. The SolarWinds breach 2020 compromised multiple U.S. government agencies and private corporations, highlighting the vulnerability of supply chains. 1.2. Cybersecurity and critical infrastructure. Nation-states have recognized cybersecurity as integral to their national defense. The militarization of cyberspace has led to the development of dedicated cyber commands. The U.S. Cyber Command (U.S. Cybercom) operates under a dual-hat structure with the National Security Agency, NSA, emphasizing both defense and offense. China's Strategic Support Force and Russia's GRU cyber units focus on both military cyber operations and information warfare. The concept of cyber deterrence is under debate. Unlike nuclear deterrence, cyber deterrence is hampered by the ambiguity of attacks, the difficulty of establishing red lines, and the low cost of entry for non-state actors. 1.3. The gray zone and hybrid warfare. Cyber operations are frequently used as part of hybrid warfare, a mix of conventional and unconventional strategies. Russia's use of cyber and disinformation tactics during the annexation of Crimea and the U.S. elections exemplifies how states exploit the gray zone between war and peace. As cyber capabilities proliferate, even middle powers and rogue states e.g., North Korea, Iran, are leveraging digital tools to achieve strategic objectives. The democratization of cyber tools raises questions about escalation, sovereignty, and accountability in a digitally connected world. 2. Artificial intelligence (AI), big data, and digital diplomacy. 2.1. AI and strategic innovation. Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming a force multiplier in military, intelligence, and diplomatic domains. Applications include autonomous weapons systems capable of making split-second decisions, predictive analytics to forecast political unrest, economic crises, or military threats, AI-enhanced surveillance tools that allow unprecedented monitoring of citizens, borders, and enemies. Leading powers like the U.S. and China are racing to achieve AI supremacy, recognizing its potential to reshape the balance of power. The Chinese government has explicitly declared its ambition to become the world leader in AI by 2030, integrating AI into smart cities, military doctrine, and public governance. The strategic implications are profound. AI can amplify the speed and precision of decision-making, but also introduces risks such as algorithmic bias, accidental escalation, and a new arms race over lethal autonomous weapons systems laws. 2.2. Big data and global influence. Big data, The vast and complex datasets generated by digital activity has become a valuable asset in diplomacy and international affairs. Governments and multinational corporations use big data to monitor migration flows and conflict zones through satellite imagery and social media analysis, track pandemics, COVID-19, and inform public health interventions, manipulate political discourse through targeted messaging and influence operations. This capacity has blurred the line between public diplomacy and propaganda. The use of algorithms to shape public opinion, exemplified by Cambridge Analytica's manipulation of electoral behavior, raises ethical concerns about transparency, privacy, and sovereignty. In authoritarian states, big data is often used to bolster internal control. China's social credit system is a prime example of how surveillance, data, and AI converge to shape behavior and suppress dissent. 2.3 Digital diplomacy and soft power. Emerging technologies are transforming diplomacy itself. E-governance platforms and digital embassies, as pioneered by Estonia, are redefining statecraft. Cyber dialogues between major powers, e.g.U.S. China's cyber diplomacy talks are becoming crucial confidence-building measures. Digital foreign aid through infrastructure, cloud services, and technological investments serves as a new tool of influence. China's Digital Silk Road exemplifies this approach. Digital diplomacy also means states must now engage with non-state actors, tech companies, civil society, and even hackers who wield significant influence over global communication infrastructure. 3. Technological competition and its influence on global politics. 3.1 U.S. China tech rivalry. The U.S. China competition is increasingly centered on technological leadership rather than ideological conflict. The battleground includes semiconductors and microchips, with both nations striving for self-sufficiency. 5G networks, where the U.S. has campaigned to exclude Huawei from global rollouts. Quantum computing, which promises breakthroughs in encryption and information processing. Technology is now a pillar of economic statecraft, with governments employing export controls, investment screening, and supply chain reshoring to limit dependency on strategic rivals. This rivalry is not confined to states. Private tech giants such as Google, Amazon, Tencent, and Alibaba are major geopolitical actors. Their control of data, cloud infrastructure, and digital ecosystems grants them quasi-sovereign power. 3.2 Global technological fragmentation. As states adopt divergent technological standards, the Internet is increasingly splintering into what some call a splinter net. The U.S. model prioritizes openness and private sector innovation. Though increasingly regulated, the Chinese model emphasizes state control, surveillance, and digital sovereignty. The EU's model, exemplified by the GDPR, champions privacy and digital rights. This divergence affects digital trade, data flows, and multilateral cooperation. It also creates dilemmas for developing countries, forced to align with one digital ecosystem over another. Technological fragmentation also complicates arms control and non-proliferation. Unlike nuclear weapons, emerging tech like AI or cyber tools are dual-use, decentralized, and hard to regulate. 3.3 The new geopolitics of innovation. Innovation ecosystems are now strategic assets. Nations are investing heavily in research and development, protecting critical technologies and fostering tech startups. As part of national security strategies, the CHIPS Act U.S. and Made in China 2025 are emblematic of this trend. Technological nationalism is rising, with governments limiting foreign ownership of key sectors and emphasizing secure supply chains. This has geopolitical consequences. It reinforces economic decoupling, particularly between the U.S. and China. It triggers new alliances based on tech trust, e.g. the U.S. Trade and Technology Council. It redefines development aid, where digital infrastructure becomes a tool of soft power. Conclusion: toward a digital geopolitical order. The fusion of emerging technologies with global politics is creating a new paradigm of international relations, what might be called digital geopolitics. In this world, Power is no longer measured solely in tanks and treaties, but also in data, code, and chips. Cybersecurity is a foundational aspect of national defense. AI and big data are redefining how governments understand, predict, and influence behavior. The strategic competition over technology is restructuring global alliances, fragmenting international norms, and reshaping the very architecture of the global order. As the line between civilian and military technologies blurs and between state and non-state actors dissolves, international politics is entering an era of profound uncertainty. Yet it also offers opportunities through digital diplomacy, multilateral governance of tech, and shared ethical frameworks to reimagine international cooperation in the digital age. The coming decades will be defined not just by who leads in technology, but by how that leadership is exercised and whether it promotes authoritarian control or global accountability, warfare or cooperation, division or shared progress.